At night, when the moon is full and the air still, when the only sounds to be heard are the crickets and occasionally the hoot of an owl, there's another sound one might hear, however. This is the sound of the mail train, and it's Percy's pride and joy. Every night, he'll collect the vans from the big yard at the end of the line and take them all down the main line. And even onto Duck's branch line, stopping at every station along the way, before turning back around and making his way down Thomas's branch. Up until recently, Percy only went as far as Alsborough West, where the small engines worked. When the new extension up to Harwick was added, however, his journey became a bit longer, taking him all the way up to the holiday town in the north. Unfortunately, the newly extended route was causing him to be quite late with making his deliveries along Thomas's branch. One morning he arrived very late indeed. "I see the mail's finally arrived," said a passenger as he boarded Thomas's train. "Perhaps I could finally receive my parcel. Though with the way things have been, I shouldn't expect it until next week." "I'm sorry you've been dealing with so much work," whispered Thomas. "I'm surprised you even have time to sleep." "Oh, it's not even extra work. It's the route," Percy yawned. "Just getting to Harwick isn't that bad at all, but since it's at the end of the line, I'd have to go all the way there and back to Alsborough before I've made any progress. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sure Sir Topham Hatt has heard the complaints by now. I just hope he's not too cross with me." "Oop, sorry to chat and run," peeped Thomas, "but I must keep to time with passengers. Just be glad your mail sacks can't complain. Goodbye." Fortunately, Sir Topham Hatt had found a solution. "Ja, Percy, Ryan, so glad to see the both of you. Percy, I've heard quite a number of things about your recent mail deliveries." Yes, sir," stuttered Percy. I'm so sorry, sir. It's just that..." Now, don't worry, Percy," soothed Sir Topham Hatt. "I'm aware the recent delays have not been your fault. In fact, I've spoken with your driver and learned I've made quite the miscalculation. I assumed making it to Harwick and back when you were already going to Alsborough would not be an issue, but I can see I was wrong. I am quite sorry for that, but I do believe I found a solution that would suit everyone. Ryan, that's why I've asked you here today." "Oh, yes, sir. What can I do, sir?" "How would you like to take charge of your own branch of the mail run?" Ryan was ecstatic. "Oh, yes, absolutely, sir." "Perfect," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Now, Percy, you'll still be making your usual runs from Vicarstown to here at Knapford. But once you arrive, Ryan will take one of your vans and make the run up to Harwick. This will allow you to make the Farquhar run much earlier and get back to your shed sooner." "But, sir, Excellent, boomed Sir Topham Hatt. "If that's all good, we can start tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me, Lady Hatt has my breakfast waiting. Pancakes today, they're my favourite." "Isn't this fantastic, Percy?" said Ryan. "I've always liked the sunrise. Now I get to watch it come up over the seaside." "I liked that too," muttered Percy under his breath. He tried not letting Sir Topham Hatt see it, but he was fuming inside. Unfortunately, Thomas and Toby heard all about it. "Who does he think he is? To think he can steal my mail train like that?" Percy grumbled in the shed that night. Thomas was puzzled. "I just don't quite understand it, to be honest. Just yesterday you said you had too long of a route and needed a change. How is this a problem? I could understand if Sir Topham Hatt let him take the run from Alsborough to Harwick, but to let Ryan have the entire seaside run isn't right." "It is his line after all," said Toby. "It is not. That's Duck and Oliver's line," retorted Percy. "His is that overextended siding past the harbour he shares with Daisy." "Oh, come on," moaned Thomas. "I'm sure it'll feel much better to get back here sooner and get a few extra hours of sleep." "Humph, we'll just see about that," muttered Percy as he set out to start the night. Later that night, Percy arrived at Knapford, where Ryan was waiting. "Beep, beep, good morning," he whistled, but Percy didn't reply. "Oh, I'm sorry. You must be awfully tired after all the extra work you've been doing. No need to worry now. I've got it from here." As the mail for Knapford was unloaded, Philip took the rear van off the train and shunted it behind Ryan. When everything was ready to go, the two engines set off. Ryan was loving his late-night run up the coast. The air was cool, and the moon reflecting off the seaside lit up the line nicely. He almost didn't even need his lamp. With no passengers and no other engines bustling about, all that could be heard at the stations was the water clapping on the shore, and a few seagulls up and about looking for their breakfast. As the sun rose, and Thomas and Toby were waking up, they were happily surprised to find Percy.
"How much would you want to say you'll be in better spirits tonight?"
whispered Toby. "I'd definitely say so," replied Thomas. "Never mind, Toby." "And it just wasn't right," Percy went on for another night. "My run just feels empty now," he complained. Thomas and Toby didn't even bother to reply. They just let him talk, hoping it would be over. But it wasn't until he finally left. But as he arrived at Knapford that night, Ryan was nowhere to be seen. "Where is he?" Percy grumbled. "What was the point of a second engine, if the second engine is going to keep me waiting? I could have been as far as Baldy's Field by now." "Hold on now," said his driver. "I'll phone the signalman down the line and see if he's come through yet." He returned a few moments later. "That's strange. He hasn't been through anywhere yet. We've already lost a lot of time. I think it's best we just go on and start the coaster run ourselves." Percy was most pleased. "The mail run is mine! The mail run is mine!" he chortled. "Oh, you know," he yawned. "How dare Ryan keep me waiting like that? I could have been done ages ago." As he stopped at the small railway, there was Ryan, finally coming down the line. "Oh, Percy, I'm so sorry. Daisy stopped on the switch outside the shed because she didn't want to pull. Well, never mind, you understand." But Percy whistled and started off again, without so much as a look at Ryan. "Percy? Percy!" "Oh." As Percy arrived at the next stop near the harbour, he noticed his vision blurring, and his eyes getting heavier. He tried to ignore it, but it would soon become a problem. As he continued along, he was getting sleepier and sleepier, whether he wanted to admit it or not. "Not much longer now. We'll be done in no time. No time at all." He yawned. As he came nearer and nearer to Harwick, his eyes got heavier and heavier. First one eye closed, and then the other. And there was the station. By the time the station master realised something was wrong, he barely had time to move. "Percy, look out!" he shouted as he jumped clear, but it was far too late. Poor Percy had no idea what had happened, but the station platform was busted to smithereens. He would have to get his story straight quicker than he'd liked, however, for there stood Sir Topham Hatt. "Percy!" he boomed. "Oh, sir. Yes, sir?" "I'd like an explanation for this, immediately." I don't know, sir. Honestly, sir," Percy stuttered. "I was just delivering the mail. I left Oldsborough and then sir, I don't know, sir." She," said Sir Topham Hatt. "The station master tells me you came in with both eyes shut tight. I don't suppose something spooked you now, did it?" "No, sir." "Then perhaps you fell asleep then." "Well, maybe," yawned Percy. "But I've never had any problem with the mail before." "Before the new Harwick extension, that is. You know, Percy, I recall offering you some help. I also seem to hear that you're not too fond of the new arrangement. I assure you, however, this new arrangement is most necessary. Don't you agree?" "Oh, yes, sir," sighed Percy. "I'm sorry for being rude to you, Ryan. I know you were just trying to help." "Oh, it's all right, Percy," chuckled Ryan. "I'm just more concerned about what Daisy is going to say when she finds out she has to pick up her passengers from somewhere other than her pristine platform. She's not coming to like this." "And that's something I'll have to deal with," muttered Sir Topham Hatt. "Ryan, I trust you can handle getting the rest of this cleaned up and taking Percy to the steamworks for me?" "Yes, sir." "Good. I'll be off then. Breakfast waits for no one." From that night on, the new mail arrangement went without a hitch. Percy taught Ryan everything he knew about the mail run, and Ryan was quite enjoying his new job. While Percy still misses his coastal sunrise runs, he doesn't mind it much anymore. For the one thing he certainly no longer misses is a good night's rest.